Welcome to the Immigrant Entrepreneurs Podcast, episode 26. My name is Alina Warwick, and today I have a great honor and pleasure to chat with Dr. Wei Wang from New York. Dr. Wei Wang grew up in a communist China where his only option was to get a high school education and then either become a farmer or a manufacturer labor worker. But against all odds and the unimaginable, once China had a reform policy, the government allowed only one chance of taking a college prep exam to get into college. If you got in, well, you're lucky. If you didn't pass the test, you have no chance of getting into colleges in China. So, Dr. Wei Wang has a very exciting journey to share. He tells us how he became a construction engineer in New York and how his business got to $1 million in revenue after only 3 years in business. Fortune.com reports that his company in 2017 made $3.5 million in revenue and continues to grow. His company, Urbantech Consulting Engineering PC, has been operating for 20 years now, and he's designed many bridges in New York and in the New Jersey area, amongst many buildings and other infrastructure projects. So let's dive right in. Wei, thank you so much for coming on to this Immigrant Entrepreneurs podcast. I truly appreciate your time, and I'm so honored to chat with you about your immigrant entrepreneur journey. So, how are you doing today?
Great. And first of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for doing this. I think this is vital to promote the business community in the immigrant communities. And I think this is one of the greatest things that happening. And a lot of immigrants like myself started business and contributed to this society. I think this is a great thing that about this country. It shows the strength of our democracy and the strength of this country.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So let's talk about your immigrant journey. Tell us where you're from and when did you come to the United States?
Yeah, I was brought up in China, Shanghai, China, and arrived in US in 1991. Actually, the January of 1991.
And did you come by yourself?
Yeah. And I was a student back then, and I was doing my research in Denmark. And about 2 years prior, and I was in 1989, I left China and I went to Technical University of Denmark on the scholarship and to do some research to complete my PhD research program. And
Okay.
after I did my research over a little bit more than a year and applied to school here in US and came here and finished my PhD program at the New Jersey Institute of Technology.
And what did you study on the PhD program?
My research topic was plasticity in concrete and also fatigue of materials such as aluminum, steel, concrete. And because of my major was in structural engineering, and this was my research topic back then.
Got it. Got it. So, how old were you when you came in 1999?
I came here in 1991. And
91. Okay.
yeah, 91. Oh gosh, I was 31 years old. Yeah, I left China when I was 29. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So, what was it like growing up in China?
Well, back then, because I left China in 1989, and China just started to open up policy, and the country was changing, but still very much backward behind the rest of the world, at least by 30 years or so, when you compare to the industrialized countries in the West. And that was a complete different country, if you compare the China back then and the everyone sees on TV right now.
Mm-hmm,
It's a
mm-hmm.
different country now.
So, what was the education like when you were growing up? Was it prominent for everyone to be going and getting higher education?
No, back then to getting to the college was a very hard thing. It's not, because that was back more of like a communist planned economy. So everyone, especially the kids who are in the cities, they have to go through this high school education. Once you graduate from high school, you have to take an entrance exam to get
Hmm.
into college. So the acceptance rate for any college, I think, is less than 1%.
Wow.
So it was pretty hard to get into a college back then. I remember my class, we have, oh gosh, we have about 1,000 students in my class, and the only less than 100 students get into the college. But that 100 student was not the native to this high school, was in the advanced placement class. To get into that class was already probably only like a less than 10% chance. So it was pretty hard to get in.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. So, when you were growing up, did you always know that you were going to move to the United States?
No, no, actually, that was all by chance. And I was doing when I was back in like a middle school and elementary school, there was no professional development paths that laid in front of you. There was not even a college entrance exam back then because the China was still in the Cultural Revolution chaos. So basically, our path was to graduate from high school and then get placed to a factory or to a farm to be either re-educated
Hmm.
or just take a job as a manual labor, and after a few years, if you're lucky, they may pick you to send you to the college, but that was only reserved for the very top, the elite. So it's very hard
Wow.
for me to imagine to go to college. Yeah, back then.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So tell me a little bit more then. How did you end up in Denmark and then you came to the United States if this was completely unimaginable?
Yeah, I was very lucky, from get go. And right after I graduated from my junior, not even 2 years before I finished my junior high, and China started this open up policy. And I remember 1976, they stopped the Cultural Revolution and changed from Mao's policy to the policy that we know now as the open up policy,
Hmm.
economic reform. One of
Hmm.
the first things that the government implemented was to reinstitute the college entrance exam. So every high school student will get a chance. You get one shot to take
Mm.
the college entrance exam. If you pass that, and then you will be accepted by the college. I was very lucky and passed the entrance exam and was accepted by Tongji University, one of leading universities in civil engineering in China, and started my college study in 1980. And then after I got my bachelor degrees, I stayed in the university and then started my postgraduate study. And I was accepted into a PhD program, one of the first back then in China. And then I was very lucky to got a scholarship from the EU and to conduct my research in in the Technical University of Denmark near Copenhagen. So after a year and a half or so research there, and then I applied to school here in US. And actually, my professor sent me a letter through some mutual friend's introduction that he learned my research and was very interested. And then he asked me to come here, PhD. So I did.
Wow, what a journey. What a journey. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, tell me a little bit about the struggles that you had to go through when you first immigrated to the States.
Well, Actually, coming here is a little bit smooth transition because I spent a year and a half before I came here, and I get a chance to learn a little bit English in Denmark.
Hmm.
So it become a little bit easier transition from Denmark to US. But the first few months when I arrived in Denmark, it was a shock. And having living in China for all my adult life back then,
Hmm.
and to see an entire different world, and it was a shock. But I was still young, and I was able to adapt and to cope with the new environment. And so when I came here to US, and pretty much did the same very quickly.
Did you live at the dorms at the school?
No, and we have a few students, and we shared an apartment in the nearby town, Harrison. It was a good experience. People helping each other. All the students were from mainland China, and I remember there's also a student from I think is a native from New Jersey. So we get along pretty well.
So you landed in the New York, New Jersey area for school.
That's right.
Got it. So did you always wanted to be in the engineering field when you were growing up?
Actually, it's not. And
No.
I was pretty good in maths, and I imagined myself, be able to study physics, advanced physics. And back then, China, the sentiment was the best student to go to study physics. I was trying, but I wasn't good enough. So, but and also my father was a civil engineer, so he wanted me to study civil engineering, so I did, and it turned out to be a good fit for me.
Oh, got it. So before you tell our listeners about your company, tell me a little bit about the path you took. Did you try to go into any other fields before starting your business? So I guess we can just pick up where you were here studying on the PhD program, doing your research, and then what happened.
Oh, then 6 months before my graduation date, and I found a job. I landed in New York. Is a bridge and building design firm, and I really loved. And I enjoyed working there, and working there in daytime and going back to school in nighttime to finish my dissertation.
Hmm.
So it went on 6 months, and I passed the final exam. And the paper, my dissertation was accepted by the committee. So I was able to graduate with PhD degree January 1995. And then I continued work in this company for another year or so. But unfortunately, that company went out of business. And
Oh.
I found another job and changed a few companies along the way. And finally, I decided to go on my own and start my own company. That was end of 1999, and but the company started operation 2000. So everything turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, yeah. 20 years later, still going. Obviously, it's pretty good.
no complaints.
Yeah. So, wait, I want to know what was that pivotal point for you when you were working at that last company to go and venture out and create your own company? Did you just realize that you can do so much more with your own talent and your own skills, and you weren't really allowed to do that in that company? Did you quit and then start your company? Did you start doing it on the side?
It's kind of interesting because my last company was a very reputable building AE firm, architecture engineering firm. I joined the company only a little bit more than a year or so, and was quickly promoted to senior associates back then. So I was trying to see if there's a possibility for me to run the bridge group because my first job I had exposure to the bridge design field. But the company decided not to go that route because they have every reason to do that. I think this is a 150-year-old architecture engineering company concentrate on building. Probably they don't
Hmm.
want to venture to the bridge side. So that I decided to start my own, and with the help of two friends, and they were the founder of a construction company in Jersey. I think the company is still operational right now, and but these two brothers retired. I'm still working with one of the brothers, Eddie Malinowski, and they helped me a lot. And Eddie and I were working on something very interesting. We are applying a patent to develop a whole brand new building system to be able to prefabricate wall panels, floor panels with very high R value. R value is one of the measures to measure the efficiency, keeping the heat, retain the heat in the house. So
Mhm.
it's very environmentally friendly and
Mm.
save a lot of energy. So this is after 20 years, we're still working together.
Wow. So did you have any savings before you quit and started your company?
Oh yeah, I've been working like 5 years or so. So yeah, I do
Got
have
it.
some a little bit savings, but to start my company, my type of a business, you don't need a lot of capital. You need a lot of brain power. I put it this
Yeah.
way. It's all you need is a computer, pencils, and drafting table. I did spend $4,000. I remember bought a large format plotter so I can plot the large drawings, and that was about it. Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. So tell us a little bit more about Urban Tech and what you guys do.
Well, Urbantech is a structural engineering firm. I'm a structural engineer, but with very strong focus on construction engineering. So we work with owners, architects to design new buildings, new bridges, and also we work with contractors to figure out what's the most efficient way to build buildings and bridges. And majority of work is actually on the infrastructure area, which is, we do a lot of bridge construction engineering work, figure out the way to build the bridges efficiently, quickly. And we're also very big on ABC, accelerated bridge constructions, where, you take one weekend and to shut down the road and to remove the bridge and to moving in a new bridge. We've
Mm.
done quite a few of those. And this is, what we do at Urban Tech.
And so this is focused in the New York area?
That's right. And our business is primarily in New York area, but also we do a little bit of work outside of New York, like a Pennsylvania, DC area, but the Northeast.
Mm. So what was the first bridge that you planned out?
The first bridge actually was a pretty large one, and
Mm.
we did one as Urban Tech, we Bridge, and under the company called. It's a very large company from Turkey. Actually, they have operation in U.S. It's called Kiska. They were the successful low bidder of a replacement of a swing bridge that the bridge swings open, allowed
Mhm.
the ships to pass by. Right,
Mhm.
it's a bridge connecting Manhattan and Bronx. It's
Mm.
called the Third Avenue Bridge. If I recall correctly, that was the first major movable bridge to get replaced, reconstructed in New York area in the 50 years or
Wow.
so, period. So we worked as Urban Tech. Actually, that back then was just myself and the one Blackman. We planned the removal of the bridge, and also we detailed a how to put the new bridge together with the proper geometry. And also we designed some bridge, one temporary bridge being used during construction to maintain the traffic. The bridge was
Mm.
built in Alabama and put on the ocean going barge, 100 by 400 feet, 20-foot deep ocean going barge was towed here to US. That project, one of the signature projects in New York area,
Mm. Mhm.
and it was documented by Discovery Channel. So,
Wow.
yeah. that was a good project. Yeah.
And you did that all by yourself?
Did the construction engineering. Yeah, I
Yeah.
did most of the calculations and with some help, from part-time workers and
Yeah.
that I can find my friends and so on. Yeah. And then because of this work, we got the second bridge replacement the project right next to that bridge. It's called the 145th Street Bridge and from Kiewit. And then Kiewit is I think they are the number one domestic construction companies in US. And after this job, we built very good business relationship with Kiewit Northeast operations. So we're doing a lot of their work. And right after this is another major bridge replacement, the Willis Avenue Bridge. So we did all the engineering in before bid with Kiewit. So
That's
that,
awesome.
yeah, basically we did all three movable bridges replacement in New York City, connecting Manhattan and the Bronx.
Wow, wow. What a huge responsibility working on bridges. So I always wanted to know, specifically on bridges.
Mhm.
So how do you guys install them? Do you have to go all the way down to the deep, deep ocean to the ground? Because I always thought that like to get down at the bottom is such a long, long way to go. So how are these bridges standing and are they really holding to the bottom of the ocean?
In this case, this is a river. It's the bridge across over a river, East Harlem River.
Okay.
But the principle is the same. And the conventional design is you have used piles, right? It's like a very long columns, and
Okay.
you drive them down passing through the softer layers like a sand, sometimes the clay, and
Hmm.
then you try to reach the bedrock because below that usually you're gonna find a rock somewhere, right?
Mm.
So you find the location where the bedrock is higher, closer to the ground, and then you drive piles, land the piles on the bedrock, and then you pour foundation pile caps, and then use that to support the bridge.
Wow, wow, that's insane. That's awesome. So, wait, how old were you when you started your business?
Oh gosh, how old I was? I was 38.
38.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, where do you think you got your entrepreneurial drive from?
That's a very good question. I, be honest with you, I didn't realize I was running a business for a very long time since I started the company. I thought
No
I was a
way.
practicing engineering. Yes.
Wow.
And that's what I love to do. And that's where my passion is, right? I'm an engineer and I want to practice engineering. So, and to practice engineering in the field of my liking. So that's why I started this company and start doing the construction engineering, which is my passion. So I love work in the field and figure out identify the problem and use my math and the engineering skill to devise a solution to solve the problem. That's what had been model of Urbantech. We try to be very practical and also to be very efficient in our design, use the advanced engineering and the math, but not necessarily come up with a complicated solution. We want to devise a very simple solution. So at Urbantech, we say our design, we follow the principle of kisses. Usually you say kiss or keep it simple, stupid. But we do it to keep it simple, stupid, efficient, and safe. So that the some solution you come up with, people look at, yeah, it's so simple. Why didn't we think about this before, right? But
Mm,
you come to this point through multiple iterations. That's what we do.
mm.
And talking about the business, and the first time I realized I have to treat this as a business was 2012 and 2013. I attended this program, I think it helped me tremendously and to discover the other side of engineering, which is a business, is Goldman Sachs 10K SB.
Mm.
This was a program that Goldman Sachs established after the economic, the financial crisis in 2008, and the goal is to help 10,000 small businesses in U.S. to grow. Right. So I applied the program and got in. The first time I didn't even get in. And I applied the second time, they accepted me. And I found it was very helpful because and all of a sudden, and I realized that running a company, you have to treat it as such. So you have financial you need to take care of. You have HR. You have to have a very clear business development goal, and you have to understand the people. So this is, where I started looking at this business from a different perspective. It helped me tremendously. Urbantech was established in 1999 to start operating 2000, as I said.
Mhm.
And our revenue shoots up pretty fast in the first 2 years. I think we reached like $1 million revenue within like 3 years. It was like same, right? Not much difference for the next 10 years.
Okay.
So, and then 2013, I decided to look at differently and to try to run Urban Tech as a business enterprise, not just my individual engineering practice. So we start to implement some, growth plans that I worked out while attending 10KSB and set up a goal of growing 25% annually. And we actually hit and surpassed this goal. So we increased our revenue quite significantly, in the next 5 years. And by all means, Urban Tech is a small company, as of today, still. But and the type of the project we're doing and type of people we're hiring, and we try to lay a very clear professional development path to in front of everyone and get everyone involved in the company daily operation. So I think that this program really helped me tremendously. In the past 5 years, and Urban Tech has been on this growth path, and we're on the IC Fortune list of top 100 small fastest growing business in US for the past 4 years. Hopefully, this will be our fifth year where I'll keep our finger crossed. So
Yeah.
we're getting on. Will be the fifth year consecutive year on that list. We're very proud of being part of that program.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I was reading through an article that was published on fortune.com, and it did mention that your company had a 272.68% growth over a 5-year period. So we're talking about growth, and I wanted to ask you, do you think that is mainly contributed from that Goldman Sachs program that you attended?
Yeah, that program actually opens the door so that, as I said, led me to realize the business side of urban tax operation. So we started a plan and implemented the plan by getting new capitals, hire new people, open the market, right? This is,
Mhm.
but at the end of the day, our people is what's behind this growth. Everyone's working very hard, right? And understand that this is a goal not just for the upper management at Urban Tech, but is everyone's goal. Try to
Mhm.
reach that goal that we have set for ourselves. So I think that I have to emphasize this. I can't say more, enough that our people is the real driving force behind that. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. And then the other thing that you started doing is physically writing down your goals. And like you mentioned, 25% increase in revenue and you completely surpass that. I just want to ask you, is that maybe also what contributed to this massive amount of growth? Like before you didn't really have kind of a business goal, business plan, and then you started physically writing them down and implementing those strategies from the program.
That's correct. I think
Okay.
that you have to be very clear, not just to yourself and to every company, what's our goal and
Mm,
what we need to achieve as a company at the end of this year, and also what a kind of a client, what's our marketing strategy to reach that goal. So this
mhm,
is once you have this laid out very clearly, and everyone has a very clear goal to achieve, and with the help of our staff, we feel like we can get there. Yeah, and
mhm.
we did for the past 7 years, but I think that we will eventually reach our new target in the next 5 years.
You will surpass that target.
Thank you.
I know it. I know it. So, wait, do you have any mentors that helped you out to start your business?
Initially, not really, and somehow I was just got into this without a very good, preparation that I should have. But along the way, I think I got a lot of help in from my clients, and these are all executives, project managers from large companies such as the Kiewit, Skanska, and I think I learned tremendously in how these companies operate, and we implement a lot of their policies, like safety policy. They usually, before they sign the contract, that they say, "Hey, this is our safety policy, and you have to, accept it because you are coming to our job site." And at
Mhm.
first, we look at, wow, this is very rigorous. Can we do it as a small company? But you tough it out and you stick to it, and you make sure you are doing the very same as the client would like you to do, and especially on the safety, on the and also our accounting system. And with that, I think we learned tremendously to help us, and also it helps us to achieve where we are now.
Mm, so powerful. So, looking back at your immigrant entrepreneur career and knowing what you know now, would you want to change anything or do anything differently?
Absolutely. As I said, I wish I knew that, running any kind of business, engineering practicing included, is a real business. You have to treat it as a business, treat it as such, so that you should have a business plan, you have a financial cash flow. It's there to support your growth, and you have to have a marketing strategy. And
Mhm.
I didn't, I didn't know any of those when I started. If I knew that, then I think it will help me tremendously to get where we are now, probably 10 years shorter time, than
Yeah.
what we took. Yeah.
So you mentioned that you raised capital a little further down the road, right?
Hmm.
Got it. So you didn't raise any capital at the beginning stages. You kind of just did this by yourself. You thought that you were running your own show, right?
That's right. And right after the Goldman Sachs program, the first thing I did was reach to my banker, Chase. They have been tremendous, tremendous help to us. And I said to them, look, we have this growth plan, and I would like to get a line of credit to support this growth, right? And I spoke with my banker, and she said, well, we look at your company's financial and your project and your brochure, and we would like to talk to you. So I went into a meeting. I didn't even know it was a pitch. So I stepped into this conference room with like about 10 people sitting there waiting for me. I thought it was a private meeting just with my banker. And so they ask the questions. I give my answers. Obviously, I know my numbers, and there was not much to remember
Yeah.
because it's all me, right? I was the chief engineer, I was the chief financial officer, I was everything. So I, it was just me, right?
Yeah.
So the meeting went well, and they gave me a line of credit that I asked. I wish I asked more, but
Yeah.
they gave me what I asked, and that was good. And then I used that money and started to hiring people. And then we went one step further. Last year, we went back to Chase and asked for a pretty large sum of term loans.
Hmm.
And they were asking, why do you need a term loan? I told them, look, as a company, we have this growth plan. We need to make sure we have a cash to
Hmm.
maintain the health cash flow to support this growth. In any growth, you will know that the cash flow will lagging. In our business, it's like a 6 months lag,
Hmm.
meaning that you put in the work in advance. You won't see
Hmm.
the money in 6 months because
Hmm.
takes this long to get your invoice approved by the project, by the government agencies before you can see the money. So we need that money in place to support this growth. So they give me that money, and that money turned out to be extremely helpful. That was
Hmm.
end of last year, and entering this year, we all know what happened. So, but with our term loan and also with the Small Business Administration's help, the EIDL loan, the PPP loan, so we survived this pandemic so far pretty well, and hopefully, we can reposition ourselves and to grow even further when the next year after the infrastructure bill is approved, and I'm sure it will be approved by the Congress. So we are going to expand even further.
Wow. That is so, so amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Wait, I'm really interested to know, how do you look at failures and how do you overcome them?
I think failure is not is just some misfortune happen to anyone. It's almost a necessity for being successful. What's important is to learn from the failures and not to repeat the same mistake.
Hmm.
So, as they say, right, in Chinese, so we say the failure is the mother for all success, right? And
Mm.
here we say failing your way to success. I think failing is, this is the universal. Everyone understands that. But the thing that will really hurt you is you repeat the same mistake, or after one trial, you give up. Then that will really hurt you. So you have to keep trying and to learn from your mistakes, and eventually we'll get there.
Yes, I believe that. That's so true. So, is giving back, either volunteering time or giving back to the community, something that is part of your business values?
Yeah, I think so. As they say, charity start from your home. This is the first thing we do is we try to provide our the very competitive benefit package to our employees. And for instance, we give anyone, if they want to study anything, tuition assistance. When I say
Or
anything, it's related to our business, right? You can study engineering master degrees, or you want to study MBA. The
Mhm.
company, we pay part of the expenses. If you go to public school, the amount that we pay pretty much can cover like a 90 or even 100% of your cost. So this is what we do as the first step. And also, and I volunteer my time to serve the school that I attended, NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology. I've been on the board of industry advisory board for more than 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and also we donate our time and our money to any good courses that we see fit.
Mm. That's amazing. You're giving back in so many ways. So, Wei, what is next for you? What are some projects you're working on now? Are you building any more bridges?
Yeah, we are working with Skanska on a project. Is reconstruction of a Hunts Point. It is
Reconstruction
of
of what?
Hunts Point.
Okay.
It's a project in New York, and it vitalized the one area in Bronx, Hunts Point. And also, we still working on the new airport, LaGuardia Airport project with Walsh and Skanska. And there were a few more other projects, like Long Island Railroad building a third track connecting Long Island to the Manhattan,
Mm,
adding one more track that they call the third track project. We're on that project as well. And
mhm,
also we're actively bidding upcoming projects.
mhm,
And in New York area, in the next 5 years, there's about $51 billion infrastructure improvement project in the pipeline. So we're going to very much be on top of that and try to bid the project with
mhm,
our business partners and
mhm.
try to be part of this infrastructure revitalization project program.
Awesome. Awesome. You're doing so much. So, what out of 20 years, can you tell me if you had like one project that was absolutely like amazing and you were like, wow, what an amazing opportunity to be part of? Was it a bridge? Was it a building? Anything that you can think of?
Oh gosh.
There were so many,
It,
I'm sure.
it's like you ask who is your favorite child? Well, we love every project that we
Yeah.
did, right? But there are a few projects that they're special. For instance, the Third Avenue Bridge project, that was the first one that I spent a lot of time on it and starting to understand the naval architecture and the very essence of stability of a ship. And starting from physics, that's what I like to do, right? And then
Mm,
see how it worked out well in the real world. And that was a very unique experience. And through that project, actually, we developed a very strong naval architecture capability. And
mm,
so after this, as I said, we did the 145th Willis Avenue Bridge, and also we did a lot of barge stability type of work at the new Tappan Zee Bridge. So that helped us to build a new technical engineering technical capability. And the other projects, like we worked with Kiewit on the building the new Gossels Bridge, and through that, actually, we developed another field in engineering. One of our staff members got her master degree, wrote a master thesis on what we did on that job.
mm,
So it did not only, advance in the technology side, but also it was a very successful project, engineering and business wise.
mm,
So these are all very interesting projects. We just finished the LaGuardia Airport, majority of the portion of the LaGuardia Airport, and I think the client's response was very positive, and I think that we were very happy to be part of the team. And
mm.
that project was the best project by ENR. So I think these are the projects. As I said, I love every project, and it's very hard for me to pick one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Fabulous. Fabulous. I love it. I love it. So, what are some things you would advise the next aspiring immigrant that wants to start their own business listening to you right now?
Well, I think starting your own business is very hard work, and sometimes it's scary, especially in the day one. And if you were in the service business and your revenue comes from projects to projects, yet you have to maintain your staff, your payroll comes every 2 weeks. They don't vary because of your projects. So it could be challenging, right? But I think what you really need to do is to follow your heart, ask your question, what exactly what I want to do, and only do what you're passionate about. So for me, as I said, it was a blessing not knowing engineering as a business because I got into engineering. I thought it was just practice engineering. That actually helped. If I knew, what I have to deal with every day, I probably in the beginning I will be scared. The key is you have to do what you love to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also, there will be a lot of things getting to your way. The business is not an easy one, and you will have failures along the way, as you point out the right way, during our interview. I think at the end, you ask yourself, "Is this what I want to do?" And
Mm-hmm.
if the answer is yes, think that that's what you really find, what you're passionate about, and
Mm-hmm.
this is something you should keep doing.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I would like to quote Steve Jobs.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that are going to happen during your business career, but stay hungry, stay foolish. You eventually will get there.
So powerful. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. So to wrap up, I have some super, super fast questions for you if you're okay with that.
Sure.
Okay. What time do you normally start your day?
Oh, I get up 5:30 and I'm in the office 7:30.
Awesome. How many employees do you have?
We have 20.
Awesome. How often do you watch TV in a week?
TV. I love watching TV. And in the weekend, I probably spend 2 hours, 3 hours.
A week.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. And then how many hours of work do you normally put in, say, in a week?
In a week, probably more than 60.
More than 60?
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not more than 80.
No, not more than 80, but
Yeah.
probably 75.
Oh, okay. Awesome, awesome. Well, Wei, thank you so, so much for coming on my show. You started Urban Tech from the ground up, and your journey speaks volumes to all the immigrant entrepreneurs. And I know it's going to inspire so, so many people. I wish you all the best of successes, and I hope to see many, many more bridges in the future.
Thank you. Thank you for having me and to giving me the opportunity to share my journey with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I just wanted to ask if you can give me a quick shout out wherever you're at listening to this podcast. I'd love to give you a shout out as well on a future episode of mine. I'll see you guys all next time for another exciting and impactful episode. Take care.